We've told you several times that you should tighten connectors to a specific torque. We keep saying over and over again that these connectors should be tightened properly. So what happens if you don't? Well, obviously the system will fail, but how does it fail? Now let's look at the distance to fault we're using the Anritsu SiteMaster. Here we can see that there is a connection, and this is the connection at the instrument itself, and that is appearing as a microscopic reflection from a fault. Okay, we've turned up the gain a lot so that we're looking at a very microscopic signal here. We can see then that there's no reflection for 10 meters, and then up comes this, and that is a connector to the left of this center piece of cable. After the bit of feeder cable, there's another connector, and then there's nothing more for another 10 meters, and that's the cable to my right, and here is the dummy load at the end. So what happens if a cable connector is not properly tightened? Let's loosen one and find out. I'm going to loosen this connector here, and that connector is this one here. Okay, first of all I start to loosen it, and then you can see that the losses begin to rise. At this particular level there would really be no problem, the system would still function, but now, as you can see, with hardly any touching at all, it's gone off the scale. And it's gone off the scale, and this means that mobiles that are very close to the base station maybe will be able to talk, but those that are a couple of kilometers away would just lose service. And if it was tightened or loosened any further than this, we would see a total catastrophic failure like this. And at this point, every mobile, every call would be lost, and all traffic would have migrated to another site. Bells and whistles would have gone off, and the engineer would get a call from the BSC operator to tell them to go and investigate a fault. So we shall just tighten the connector again, but this time I'm going to tighten it a little bit slowly, and we can see that we've still got quite a high peak, and that's tightened up finger tight, well, fairly firmly. We've got a good loss, but if we tighten it up even more, that loss will start to reduce. You will of course need the correct tools to do the job, and these include the parallel pliers and a torque wrench. There is a compromise between too tight, where you damage the connectors, and too loose, where you get a fault, and the difference between those is the torque setting that we give you in our instruction manuals. All of these tools are listed in the installation manual for the equipment, but if you want to know more information about testing, then we've produced an MBL course for operating the Anritsu SiteMaster.